So two reasons that I decided to do this video today. One, it was released this weekend, and so in honor of Stephen King, I thought I'd review another Stephen King adaptation. The second has to do with the fact that I had never seen The Shawshank Redemption up until yesterday. Yeah. What is up, everyone? Welcome to Men vs. Movies. I'm Griffin, as always, and today I'm going to be giving you a throwback review. Hell yeah! I'm going to be giving you my review of the incredible film and beloved picture worldwide, The Shawshank Redemption. The Shawshank Redemption is directed by Frank Darabont and stars Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman. And the film follows Andy Dufresne, who is accused of murdering his wife and her secret lover. And so Dufresne gets sent to Shawshank Prison, where he meets up with Morgan Freeman, who is serving a life sentence as well, and the two of them become friends. And during their time at Shawshank, they find out that the prison is in fact incredibly corrupt, which comes as no surprise. And the film essentially chronicles what exactly happens to people while they're in prison, how they become institutionalized, how it's weird for them once they get out into the real world and all that stuff. And guys, after watching this film for the first time, I have to say that this easily made my top 10 films of all time. This film is incredible. It's a masterpiece, as I'm sure many of you already are aware, but as someone who is watching it for the first time, I was absolutely blown away. All right, so let's dive into this thing and talk about it. So starting out with the acting here, both Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman give tour de force performances. They are just simply stunning in these roles, both of which should have been nominated for Academy Awards and probably should have won their respective categories. Tim Robbins gives the performance of his career, and still to this day, he has never been able to do anything quite as phenomenal as Shawshank. I mean, part of that has to do with the fact that he hasn't really popped up in a lot of stuff, and it's kind of a shame because I love seeing Tim Robbins when he shows up and stuff, but the way he portrays the character of Andy Dufresne is so inspiring. The character is full of optimism throughout the entirety of the film, and when several key events happen throughout the course of the story, you see how it takes a toll on him and how it really lights a spark inside of him for a want to escape and get out of this prison because he doesn't want to become institutionalized like many of the other inmates. Andy Dufresne is simply brilliant, witty, intelligent. By the time that you get to that iconic scene where he crawls through the sewer and he's just like this with the lightning, you have massive chills because it's such a triumph for his character because he was finally able to get out and live the life that he deserved. Morgan Freeman as Red is equally fantastic. It's interesting because as the film progresses, they keep showing us scenes of Red interacting with the parole board, and he keeps giving the same answer, almost like he doesn't want to leave prison because he's borderline institutionalized himself. There's a really great scene where Andy and Red are both having a conversation, and this is really the moment where Red realizes that Andy is in fact going to escape. Andy tells him that you gotta get out of here with me, you gotta just come to Mexico, we can live our lives. And I think it was in that moment where Red realized if he was going to leave prison and go out into the real world, that he had to have something to live for, that he had to have something to keep him going. And so I think when Andy offered him this opportunity, and once Andy, in fact, escapes, Red knew what he had to do. And that was a really interesting dynamic between the two of them. And I thought that when the film comes to a conclusion, it's satisfying on both ends. After being wrongly accused, Andy gets to live the life that he deserved, and Red gets to have a life outside of the prison walls. And the two of them form a friendship that is unbreakable, and it's simply inspiring. The next positive I have with this film is the direction from Frank Darabont. I think that this is probably his best film to date. The Green Mile is fantastic, don't get me wrong, but there's something about this movie that really sticks with you. His direction, his collaboration with the great Roger Deakins on the cinematography, the environment that he creates, and the script that goes along with the film is all top notch. It's an incredible story about the power of the human spirit and how hope and optimism can keep one driven even in the worst of times. And it also helps that Darabont's direction sucks you in and keeps you invested throughout the entirety of its 2-hour and 20-minute runtime. You really become glued to the screen and attached to the characters, and by the time the film ends, it's almost weird. You don't want it to end because you loved spending time with these characters and getting to know them and getting to know the world and all that. Darabont works his magic to the fullest in Shawshank. Another positive that I have, and this really has to do with the reveal in the story, is that I thought it was incredibly well done. It was not telegraphed, even though I started to pick up on it as it got closer and closer to the reveal, by the time they actually showcase the reveal, it is so powerful and your mind is blown and you realize how brilliant of a character Andy really is. How he planned this entire escape from the second he got in there, and how each and every little thing that he was doing during his time in prison contributed to his inevitable escape. And by the time we reach that iconic scene of him finally getting through the tunnel and going like this, it's incredibly powerful. It is one of the most moving scenes I've ever seen in a movie. The last positive I have here is the incredible and haunting score from Thomas Newman. Thomas Newman's score almost drives this film as much as its characters. His themes and motifs that he echoes throughout the entirety of the story are very powerful, very fitting, and when certain scenes are played out, the music sweeps you up into the story and you can't help but start to tear up and get chills. This is most apparent during the escape scene. I think that Newman's score for the escape scene is probably one of the best uses of score in cinema ever. And this is really the film where Newman kind of developed his own style as far as film music goes. His score in Shawshank is truly revolutionary because we had never heard anything quite like this up until this point. Now, at this point, I would normally say, let's go into the negatives, but who am I kidding? This film is damn near perfect, if not perfect. It's an incredible cinematic achievement. We've got phenomenal performances by Robbins and Morgan Freeman. Frank Darabont gives us the best film of his career. Thomas Newman gives us one of the best scores in cinema, period. And by the end, you're walking away from something that is so powerful and inspiring that you can't help but feel fulfilled. And that's why The Shawshank Redemption is 100% supercharged. Thanks guys for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed my retro review of The Shawshank Redemption. I know that it's crazy. I had never seen this film up until yesterday, but let me know all your thoughts and opinions on The Shawshank Redemption in the comments section below. And then while you're down there, be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more movie reviews, movie-related content. We got a James Bond talk show that you should be checking out, so be sure to do all that stuff. And then also be sure to like Men vs. Movies on Facebook and follow us on Twitter simply by searching Men v Movies. And lastly, guys, if you like me specifically and you like what I have to say, you can always give me a follow on Twitter at Griff Schiller. All right, that'll do it for this review, guys. Until next time, take care.